This is tutorial number 92, and it covers how to make a one-piece rim within SOLIDWORKS. Now to start off, open up a rim that we've already completed or that you've already completed yourself. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a one-piece rim. So instead of having the dish and the rim, we're going to make everything off of the rim completely. So in our assembly, we're only going to have the tire, then the rim, instead of having the tire, the rim, and then the dish. Now, why I like to have the three parts, specifically in SOLIDWORKS, is that when we use the PhotoWorks, you don't notice at all that there's three parts in there. You don't see that there's the dish and then the rim. So when I'm editing the dish alone, it's a lot easier just to edit the dish and then throw it in the assembly rather than having the dish and the rim assembly all together in one part. So it's much easier personally for me, that's how I look at it, of editing and playing around with it. But if you want to make a one-piece rim instead of having the two pieces, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So start off, click on the dish that you have in there, and let's just delete it. And now open up the rim in a new window, and we're going to edit it and create the whole rim and tire. We're going to try to do the 6-spoke just like what we had before. So start off, let's edit the sketch here. Click the front view. And what we're going to do, if you remember when we made the dish, is that we use these corners here and we sketched out, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to do pretty much the same thing. So don't worry about being precise, we're just going to do a basic sketch out. So click this point here, come out, come straight across, come down, and make sure that you're in line with this guy here. And do the same coming back. Actually, let's make that a little thicker. And just do the same coming back. And click the select button there, and what we're going to do is we're going to delete this line here and this line here. And we're also going to delete this line here. Click OK, and now we're not going to have the sketch because we lost that line that we deleted in the middle here for reference, so don't worry, delete the feature and then do a revolve base. Click that line there. We're going to use this as the center. Click OK, and now we have our rim and our dish pretty much together. So this is where we would be making our cuts and creating our assembly from. So let's first make the 5 holes in it for the tire to mount onto. So let's click front view, top view, let's do it on the top, click top plane, click sketch, click circle, and from the center point just make a circle, smart dimension, and let's make it 20mm diameter, and let's make it 40 from the center. Click feature, click extrude cut, and click midpoint, and just keep going until it comes through. Click OK, and we got our first hole. Now click view, make sure your temporary axes are turned on, that little line there, so that when we use a circular pattern we use that to go around. So let's make it 72 degrees, 5 instances. Click OK, and now we have our whole pattern. Now to do the cutouts for the 6 spokes, instead of how we always cut it on the top and we just cut out like the circles were outside everything, this time flip it around and we're going to do all the cutouts from the bottom. So click the bottom view, click the top plane, click sketch, click circle. Now our first sketch that usually we would put way out here, we're going to make it touch this line and then just come in a tiny bit. And let's click this point here, pull it out. Now click smart dimension. So what we can do here is, like we did before, we usually had like a 220 or 230 radius, so we can do that. Now with this radius here, we can either make it smaller, we can say make it 350, and we can look around and say that's like the cutout that we want in this rim, in this design. We can do that. For this one though, I'm actually going to delete this one, and I'm going to make it touch the line that we made it touch before. So click the center point, and I'm going to make it touch there. So now when we look at the top here, we're going to cut out everything all the way to the edges there. So let's click the bottom view again, and now let's start making our lines and our cutouts. So let's first, oh, that's already dimension, sorry. So let's put our line here, make it perpendicular, and chain, do the same over here, perpendicular, click Smart Dimension, and from the center point, we're going to make them 35. Do that on both sides. And then close them up with a 3-point arc. And then let's delete the outside lines. Click Extrude Cut, click Midplane, and cut through. And now we've made our first cut there. Now click Circular Pattern, and let's do 60 degrees 6 times. And now we have our cutouts there. Now let's turn them into like the spokes. So click the bottom, click Sketch, click Top Plane, click Line. And before, what we did is we just made a rectangle and we went straight out, and it didn't matter. Nice and easy. We didn't have to really dimension anything. This time we're gonna have to click Line, and we're gonna have to make it go straight, and then touch this point here. Click End Chain, and then do one from here and make it touch this line anywhere here. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what angle. Click End Chain and do the same on the bottom side here. Click 3-point arc, and let's close them up. Click Feature, click Extrude Cut, cut both of those, Midplane, click OK. Do the circular pattern around, 60 degrees, 6 times. And now we have our 6 spokes. So now if we flip back to the assembly, you can see that we have the 6-spoke pattern like we had before. Now let's flick back to the dish here, and we're able to make fillets and chamfers if we want all the way around. So around these edges, let's make some little fillets. So let's make them 3 mils. And let's make it go all the way around. Do each one. Click OK. Now we're just polishing up the rim a little bit and just making it look a lot nicer. So let's do some of these ones here. So let's click this line and that line there. Let's play around with the dimensions. Let's see when it's 15. And we can see what it's going to look like. So let's do one. Let's do each side here on this one. Click OK. And now it just joins into the rim a little nicer. So we can play around, and we can do that all the way around. If we want the center to go in, we can edit the sketch, and what we were using as our dimensions, we can pull it in. So let's try that. Let's click Edit Sketch. Wrong one. This one here. Edit Sketch. And let's click the front view, bottom view, and let's throw bunch of dimensions on there that we had before. And we need to put all these dimensions on so that we don't lose our positioning where everything was. So just throw all these around. And once it's over defined, delete that. So let's make this radius here, let's make it 100. Click OK. Click accept. And now we just pulled it in a little bit. So you can play around with those and you can just edit it. Now, let's go back to how it was before. And let's just finish doing these fillets all the way around. Now, it would make sense to do a circular pattern all the way around, but I'll show you actually right now. For some reason, whenever you do circular pattern with fillets, I don't know if it's me, but I'm very unlucky and it never works. So I put in 60, put in 6, and if you look at it dead on, it looks like they're all in the right place. You click OK and it says that there's errors. For some reason, I've always noticed whenever you try to pattern fillets all the way around something, you always get errors. So when we're doing this one, we're going to have to manually do it all the way around. Click OK. And now we have our fillets joining the edges. Now let's go back to the assembly. And we can see how it's all joined. And instead of having two pieces, we only have one piece there. So let's just render this right now. And I guess the difference between the two is that when we have the three pieces, when we have the dish, the rim, and the tire, it's a lot easier to put it together quickly, easily, and manipulate it. When you have the rim and the tire only, when you're making the rim, it's a lot more time consuming. Putting it together, it's a little harder, but the thing is, you get a lot nicer results when you're doing it, such as getting like these corners in, filleting them, putting a fillet in, and you're just able to add a bit more polish and a little bit nicer touch to each of the rims. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make one-piece rims within SOLIDWORKS.